Our today guest is Mingjie Li, a New York-based actor, casting director, and film director. Mingjie has been trained at Stella Adler Studio and Deborah Kim Studio for acting. Most recently, she played a supporting role in the new MGM feature film Preparation for the Next Life, directed by Oscar nominee Bing Liu. She has directed 2 short films, Swans of the Hudson River and Sound of Fire. As a casting director, Mingjie has cast 1 feature film and more than 20 short films and series, many of which has premiered at Oscar-qualified film festivals worldwide. Before starting her filmmaking career, she was a researcher at the New York State Psychiatric Institute. Mingjie has a master's degree in public health from Columbia University and a bachelor degree in biology from Wuhan University. Welcome. Hi, I'm Mariusz Bargielski.
And Tamara Jones. You came from Kunming, China.
Yes.
And what brought you over here? What was the story of how you got over here?
Yeah, so I was born in Kunming, Yunnan. I think Yunnan is not... most of American people are not familiar with Yunnan, unless you're very interested in traveling. It's sort of like a paradise full of nature's beauty. It's close to the Southeast Asia, so it's very different from the other big cities like Beijing, Shanghai. So that's where I was born. And then I studied biology at Wuhan University. And after that, I came to New York in 2014 to study public health at Columbia University. So that's why I came here in the first place. Yeah.
Wow. So we're just clarifying that you have your master's degree in public health from Columbia University, and you have a bachelor's degree in biology from Wuhan University. So you are like very diversified, coming from a very different career. But yes, continue.
Yeah. So even though I studied biology, then public health, which is very different from acting, but I have been always very interested in acting since I was a child. And I have acted in TV series when I was around like 13 years old. But after that, like traditional Chinese parents, my parents didn't really want me to pursue acting as a career, so I had to stop. But after I graduated from Columbia in New York and worked for 2 years, I thought, wow, New York is the best place for acting. Why don't I start taking classes now and see where things go? So that's what happened after that.
Wow. Yeah. So you were over here doing a different career at first before you transferred into acting.
Yes, I was working at New York State Psychiatric Institute as a research assistant, doing like health policy research for 2 years. During which I started taking acting classes during weekends at Stella Adler Studio. And after that, I got married, luckily. So I had a green card, which means I can work in a profession other than what I studied. So I chose to be an actor.
Wow!
Since you study psychiatry, right?
Public health. I
Public
didn't,
health.
yeah,
Public
but I
health.
worked in mental health policy.
Yes. So that how much it helped you actually in your beginnings?
Yeah, I think I probably wasn't struggling as much because the last year of my college, I was an exchange student at Monash University in Australia. So I had 1 year before I came to New York where I study and work in a like English-speaking environment. So relatively, I feel like my language skill was relatively good as an international student at the beginning. But of course, there was also struggles in terms of like different class dynamic, how like people talk in different ways, like very subtle difference, which I didn't understand at the very beginning. And nowadays, when I look back, I was like, probably I said something really inappropriate at the beginning. I didn't even know. With something that sounds fine for us is actually rude to say maybe here, which I didn't know because that's just the cultural subtleties. Even I know the language, but I don't know those like differences. So that's probably one of the struggles at the very beginning.
Wow. So that must have been a huge jump. How, like, did you let your family know that you're switching from this career that you just studied for years to acting?
Yeah, I did let them know, but I think I let them know pretty late.
Okay.
Like I let them know when I already made the decision to do acting full time, and my parents know me. I'm very stubborn, and because I'm so far away from them, there's nothing they can do to stop me. So I'm like, this is what I'm gonna do, and they probably think, oh, acting is so hard. Probably she'll give up after a while. Probably that's what they had in mind or they hoped for, but I didn't, and they were like, okay. And now that they're retired, I think they have a different mindset. They're like, as long as you're happy, you're healthy, you have a good family, you're doing whatever you like, I think that's important. So because right now they're retired and they're enjoying life, so they understand me more than back then. Yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
All right. So tell us maybe a little bit more about your work, right? Besides the acting, you also involved in the casting and production. So let's start with the casting first.
Yeah. So I did a lot of acting in 2019, which was the year for me. But then there's 2020. COVID comes, but I was lucky to be able to continue taking online acting classes with my teacher, Deborah Kim. And she's a wonderful teacher, and she provides us the opportunity to also study screenwriting just to boost our creative energy during that downtime. And I took the lesson with a wonderful writer and also who is an actor during that time, and working on a few screenplays, short screenplays and features. And starting from so that's related, just as timeline-wise. I know your question is about casting. So in 2021, I think the COVID situation gets a little bit better. There are productions coming back, and I had the opportunity. I was approached by a casting office, Kate Antognini, who is really great at straight casting, and she was looking for a casting assistant who can speak Mandarin to help with a short film that's completely in Mandarin. And I was thinking, like, I've never done acting. I don't know what is street casting. Does that mean I need to go on street? There's still COVID, like what, yeah. But I like, because there's no job really at the moment, I wasn't acting. So I thought maybe I'll just take this chance and see how it goes. And it went really well. The first project, the short film, is called Same Old. And it's like totally accidentally, the director really liked my husband, who is a first-time actor. I literally like put him there, just in one of the applications just to make the number look better. And then he got the role. And I was also helping on set as a translator, and I played a supporting role as well. And that film premiered at Cannes Short Film Main Competition in 2022. So that was the very first short film that I helped with casting. And after that, I cast documentaries and other short films with Kate Antognini for the following year. And after that, I just got the chance because during my acting careers, I got to know directors and producer friends who later approached me to cast their projects as casting director. So that's how I started to cast on my own. And I've been casting, I think, 2-3 years now. I've cast one feature film, more than 20 short films, and some commercials. So that's really how it started. I didn't plan to do it. I just got the chance. Yeah.
Ah, I see. And so we are going a little bit out of order because you said when you made that decision to go from working in public health and that you went to Stella Adler, you got accepted into Stella Adler at that time, or were you taking the classes online?
Stella Adler, I was taking their weekend introductory program, and after that, I was taking more advanced workshops with them. And I think it was in 2018, that summer, I took the Art of Acting Studios Acting for TV and Film summer program in LA, which is like a Stella Adler in LA, and it's called Art of Acting Studio. So I took that program as well for acting, and also like continue with workshops and online classes after that. So I never really enrolled in the full degree program, but I've taken classes here and there with that editor.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful! I love that. Because you got a lot under your belt, and it doesn't stop there. There's more, guys. There's more.
All right, so let's talk about your writing and your producing, because you're also the writer and producer.
More of like a writer director. Yeah, but like for indie director, you sort of also does producing jobs. Yeah, so like I mentioned before, during COVID, I started taking the screenwriting classes. And I started with more personal stories. The first short film screenplay is called Swans of Hudson River. And I made that short film after COVID. And then Sound of Fire, which is my second short film, we completed early this year with that one. So both were written and directed by me. The first one is a personal story between a Chinese graduate student and her elderly white landlady in Upper West Side who suffers from Alzheimer's disease. So it's like a very unusual relationship based on my own life experience, which I'm also developing into a feature script right now.
Yeah, and I guess I was lucky because I saw actually this film, and it is great.
Thank you.
So for the first time director, right, what kind of obstacles you have to face making the movie?
Yeah, I think the luxury I had was most of the people I was working with are actually people I met already when I was an actor, especially the producer. I worked with her multiple times already before as an actor and a casting director. So we're very familiar with each other. And all the crew, the rest of the crews that she found for me are like longtime collaborators of hers. So I felt like I really trust the people and they're very supportive. So it went like surprisingly smooth. Yeah, but there was like one day where because it was really tight because of the budget reason. We cannot afford to shoot more days than 3.5 days. So I remember last day, there was one time the AD was talking to me like, we have to cut a few scenes. And I'm like, and my brain was like running really fast, like, if we cut this scene, can I still make the story complete? And that moment, under so much pressure, I cannot think straight. But luckily, my husband was also on set as a second AD, like or like just like someone helping.
Husband.
Yeah,
supportive husband.
Yeah, and he's very familiar with the story, and he writes like all the versions of the script from the very beginning. And he knows the real life event, and he even met the elderly lady, so he knows the whole thing. And he was the reasoning on set. He talks to everyone like why this thing cannot be cut, but let's make it combine it into one shot, and we can shoot this shot, and it was included in the movie in the end. So I felt like I had so much support. So yeah, otherwise I wouldn't be able to make it a complete movie in the end. Yeah.
So what do you think in the last few years, especially during the pandemic and then obviously the strike? So what were the changes before? What was before and then after pandemic for you as a filmmaker?
Yeah, I think as filmmaker, it probably doesn't really change much because I was only writing during pandemic, and I only started to put into production, start to shoot and do the post-production after COVID, not after, like when COVID is almost done. So I didn't really personally have a comparison like making movies before COVID and after. But I was on set, like I said, for the movie Same Old, which was shooting during like 2021. So that was like when COVID is still going on. So there was definitely a lot more stress, especially we had like an elderly woman on set. We're so nervous, like because they're at high risk. So yeah, and there's like COVID tests every day, of course, which add cost and everything to the project. And also there were, it's harder for casting too because there were elder actors who are very conscious about the risk and they just don't want to take that risk to act at the moment. And just definitely made everything more difficult. But because that film Same Old is about a delivery guy during COVID time, so it was really on point, and people find it relatable, and was shot during COVID, and it went really well. It was well received, so I think it was a risk worth taking.
Yeah. And listen,
Yeah.
so and you got to the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, that's the Same Old. That's
So
the
how
movie.
was how was your reaction?
It was
Learning that you aim.
I think I received the text message from casting director Kate Antognini. She said, "Our film got to Cannes," and that was like after a year. I was like, "Wait, which film? Like Same Old?" I was like, because it's been like post production and everything. It's been like a year since we shot that film. I was like, "Same Old," and I couldn't believe it because it was such a small crew. I think we had like 5-6 people on set. It's like the smallest crew I've ever had, like as an actor. I didn't expect that, and I was so surprised. And I talked to the director. The director said, when I received the email, I thought it's a scam. I like really looked up the email address, make sure it's like official email address. I just want to make sure it's not a spam. And he was really surprised too. And we went there with my husband, who is the lead in that film, myself, the director, the producer. I had a great experience. I think going to Cannes really like give me like more like motivation of being a filmmaker, because they're like people respect film so much. For example, like if you go to evening session, you have to dress up. Like I know some like American people may not like it, but you just felt like people need to put an effort, dress up almost like it's an opera or like it's a form of art. Like there's so much respect to the filmmakers. It just felt like, oh my God, like in that world, like movie is the most important thing. I just feel that energy, and that's really inspiring. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Busy time. So you were acting prior to COVID.
Yeah.
Got you. And that started in 2019, you said?
Yeah, around.
I see. So when you went into this industry, you're coming from working at the Psychiatric Institute of New York State.
Yeah.
Did you bring any of your public health degree with you into this industry? Have you been analyzing the psychosis of the acting industry? And how have you?
I think not really my knowledge necessarily in mental health, but I think I'm always like interested in mental health, just in general. Like I said, like Swans of Hudson River is about Alzheimer's disease. So I'm personally still very interested in that topic. So I think, and maybe like in the future in the other shorts or feature, I will touch on that topic again. So that interest, I feel like I kept it with me, even though I changed career completely, but that would appear in my storytelling, just in different ways. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so that's how you bring it across for like casting and directing. You're just scoping everybody's mental state.
I'm pretty sensitive about about that.
Man.
Yeah.
So definitely helps, right?
Yeah, it helps in some way, I think. Yeah.
So what about future? So what are your plans for the nearest future?
Yeah. As everybody knows, this year's industry is relatively slow, but I think whenever it's slow, like during COVID, it's a great time for creating, like writing, or learning, or just networking with people, or catching up with old friends, and to settle down and just to accumulate everything and hopefully whatever you have been preparing during the downtime can become a fruit, like pretty soon.
Of course, right?
So that's a plan. Like I said, I've been still revising the feature version of the Swans of Hudson River.
That should be interesting.
Yeah, so the feature version is more centered around the Chinese graduate student Sylvia, and with like the landlady as one of the main plot line, but also touches on her relationships with people back in China, and also her love interest here and her career path. So it's more of a like coming of age story of a young woman, and that's completed. But I'm still like revising and applying for labs and workshops. So hopefully when everything comes back, that I can have some like progress as well.
Yeah, well, definitely. It should be all ready for this moment, right?
Absolutely. And so Swans of Hudson River, is that what people can look out for as your next project to come out, or you?
Yeah, the feature version would be Swan of Hudson River, like singular, because this time it's about more centered around this young girl. So slight difference compared to the short. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Progress. That's progress.
That's progress.
Do you
That's some
have any
progress.
dates already when you start to produce? Or
I think the earliest I can think about is probably next year. I applied for Sundance and a few other screenplay competitions and fellowships. I want to, have peers, writers to help like further improve. I want to make sure it's good and it's worth investors' money and everybody's effort.
Which actually should be advice for our listeners too, right?
Yeah.
How to approach everything has to be on the highest level before you start even to film it.
Exactly. Like even before you approach investors, I think for a lot of investors, their time is valuable. Even though they're my friends, I want to like feel ready when I approach them. I don't want to like keep saying I'm doing this. I want, when I present it, it's in good shape and it's worth their time to listening to it. Yeah.
And we have time for one more question, Tamara.
You said what your plans are for the future. Is there a chance that you think you're ever going to lean on your prior degrees from this industry, going back and forth into it, or are you in the entertainment industry? Are you here to stay?
I'm here to stay.
She's here to stay, guys.
Yeah.
Look out for Mingjie
Yes.
in theaters near you.
Yeah.
Coming up soon.
Yes.
All right,
Definitely.
Mingjie, it was amazing to have you as our guest, and wish you all the best, all the luck with the film and other films and other projects that we will be cast, because you're casting all the time.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you
either
so
it's
much.
Very small or bigger, but that's amazing. So, and hopefully we can have you here soon.
Yeah. Thank you so much
All
for
right.
inviting
Thank
me.
you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.